Hey guys, Todd with Project 9. Just get started here in a few seconds. Get some water, pen, and paper. We're going to go over a top 20 list today. So, all right, guys. Thanks for joining. Good to speak to you guys today, and give you a little bit of information on a bunch of different stuff. Had obviously a really great show Tuesday with Donna, and we'll continue to bring on different people, different views on things and stuff like that. Just be able to provide as much value as we can to you guys, and different perspectives and different thoughts, because really that's what it's about, taking all that stuff in and taking what you can use and what inspires you to take action on things kind of in your life or in your control. So, all right. So today we're going to go, it's like I said, it's a top 20 list. So I'll give a little bit of background, but I saw this today. This is, most of this is basically courtesy of Brandon Dawson. If you don't know, he works, he's the leader of Cardone Capital, but had a lot of good things to say in this list. So I'm just going to go through them, and then I'll give you guys a little bit of background and kind of how we can equate that and turn that into your goals and how you can use it. Some of this stuff is immediately, you can do it starting today, starting tomorrow. The most important thing, as always, is to just start. There's no time like the present to just start going. So, number one is the quality of your sleep. Exercise and diet will determine your energy levels, and that's very true. If you're not sleeping enough, your energy is going to be down. If you're not doing something active, be it walking or working out or riding a bike or just doing something, your body recognizes that, and your energy levels are going to suffer. And then lastly is what you're putting in your body. Have a good diet. If you find yourself going to fast food places or even out to eat that often, your energy levels are going to suffer because you're putting that stuff into your body. And regardless of if it says, that it's healthy, or if it's, no GMOs, or, it's vegetarian or whatever, make it yourself. Go to the grocery store, stay on the outer line. And that way, you know exactly what's going into what you're going to ultimately put into your body. So just kind of take those three, just sleep, exercise, and diet. They will improve your energy levels. Number two, write down your top 3 priorities every single day. It's a great way to start your day. Wake up and brush your teeth, take a shower, whatever, and then just write down, like, for that day, what are the top 3 priorities that you have. One of which I'll tell you right off the bat should be making progress towards ultimately what your goal is. The others can be work related, they can be relationship related, anything like that. If it's health, making sure that you get your workout in, but write down those top 3 things. If it's something that needs immediate attention, just take the second. You're going to know what those top 3 are because you probably spent, the morning kind of thinking about it or something like that. Just write them down. That way it's a sense of accomplishment and a sense of where you're at in your day as you check those things off of your box. With that, if it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. don't let the most mundane things, or returning an email, or making a phone call, or writing down your top 3 priorities or something like that, it's going to take you less than 2 minutes. Just, if it does, just do it now. That way it's not something that is going to be just sitting there all day. And then at the end of the day, God knows you'll forget or something like that. So if it's something that takes a little bit of time, just knock it out, get it done with, and move on to the next thing. Utilize your time the best way. Number 4, on our phones, we've all got them, right? And unfortunately, a lot more people are spending their time heads down than heads up because you're on your phone. So do yourself a favor, turn off all of your non-emergency notifications. If you're in the middle of something that is either important to you for goals, important to you for your daily work or something like that, and your phone's going off and it starts buzzing or whatever, and it's a notification that you hit a new level on Angry Birds or something like that, you don't need to do anything about it. Leave obviously the emergency ones on, but all the rest of them just put on silent. It's still going to be there when you're able to have that time to spend a little bit of time on your phone. Trust me, it helps tremendously when your phone isn't going off all the time, and you can turn notifications on and off very easily. Okay. So another thing, this is number 5 on our list. So remember that 4 hours of deep, intentional work, they pay off more and are a greater use of your time than 8 hours of distracted work. It's if it's with your goals, like, spend time being intentional with that time. If it's, you're going to go for a walk, then walk and be intentional with that time usage. Instead of, walking a little bit with your phone, checking stuff there, or, if it's work and you find yourself constantly, the subject of people stopping by, or you stopping by, or seeing people in lunchroom, and all of a sudden 15-20 minutes is gone, and you haven't made any progress on anything. So just remember, the more time that you spend on a daily basis intentionally focused on the task at hand, whatever that task is, but the more intentional you are, putting all those distractions aside. If someone comes by to talk, just politely tell them that you need to pay attention to what's going on. Don't get up and walk around. Don't make random phone calls, anything like that. The more time that you're intentional with that time spent, the better off you are than going through an 8-hour day where you would have got the same or probably even less accomplished, and you'd be scrambling at the end of the day, end of the week, to get everything done, and then you would become intentional. Whereas if you just were intentional during your weeks or weekends or whatever, you're better off for it. All right. So, all right, number 6, only compare yourself to the you from yesterday. So I know we're, with social media and the unfortunate kind of look at me society that we're in, we look, right? And you'll see people that are doing different stuff, or having different experiences, or just leading a different life. But that's not your comparison. Your comparison is only to you from yesterday. Like we've talked about, when you make the decision to be intentional with your goals, with finding your why and your true inspiration, as long as you make progress, it doesn't matter if it's a big leap or if it's a small little step, as long as you make progress every single day, you're better off than you were the day before. And that's your comparison. If you look at it and say, okay, yesterday I did this, I walked this far, or, I talked to my kids for 20 minutes or whatever, even if you still walk the same distance or talk to your kids for the same amount of time, just find things in there that you made progress with. Maybe you walked a little faster, or maybe in that conversation with your kids, you learned something about them, about their inspirations and what ultimately they want to do when they grow up. Remember, kids go into each and every day with the unexpected on the horizon. That's why they're always up and their energy levels are typically up, is because they go into every day expecting the unexpected. Whereas as we go through life, we start to expect out of every single day, and every single day starts turning into the day before. So if you approach it that your comparison is to you yesterday, are you better today? Yes. Doesn't matter if it's 2% or a fraction of a percent. As long as you're making progress, you're better off for it, because that puts you that much closer to ultimately where you want to be. So don't compare yourself to these, to other people that are out there that have different lives, or are doing different things, or are promoting themselves differently on social media, and you're seeing them here, you're seeing them there. Your only comparison should be to yourself from the day before. And as long as you're making progress, you're winning. All right. Where were we? So number 7, almost lost track, but number 7, I'm going to draw a line. It's better to do a few things well than a lot of things badly. We all know in today's day and age, in today's world, for most of us, we have the shiny thing syndrome, which is, ooh, I want that. And then something will flash over here, and oh, wait, that sounds better. And we start going through all these different things, and all of a sudden you've got, 9 different things, and you can't focus like that. So be intentional with what you're focused on. And if you've got the capacity, because you're working that focused, intentional 4 hours, and you're finding that you've got time in the day that you can focus on something else, then take something else on. If it's a side gig, or if it's a job that you can do in non-working hours or something like that. Don't take on too much, and don't take it on if you don't have the bandwidth to be able to focus on it intently. It's better to do what you're doing really well than it is to do 5 things and do none of them well. So same thing when we talk about goals. That's why, when we start in our program, we typically have you start with one goal, just the one that speaks to you the most, because we want to get you in the habit of moving out of motivation into inspiration, figuring out why it's important. Because what you'll find is, if it's a wealth You want to start creating some true wealth. And as you start to make that progress, your confidence goes up, you start to see more. And with that, your health improves. And with that, your relationships get better and everything starts to get better. But it's because you were intently focused on that one item that you're starting to improve on, you're starting to get better at. And once that becomes you, it's not what you're doing, but it becomes who you are. At that point, you're going to have more bandwidth because you're starting to see progress and you're starting to gain confidence. And what used to take you an hour is taking you a half hour because you're learning about who you are now and how you can cut time out of the time wasters out of your schedule, and focus on those things, but without having 15 different things going on. Just because you're busy doesn't mean that you're making progress on any of those things that you're busy with. You'd rather be busy because you're really going after the one thing, and that's the one thing that you're focused on, than just being busy for sake of, yeah, I've got this going on, I got this going on, I got this going on, I got that going on. It does no good, especially for you or for those things that you're focused on. If there's 10 different things, you're not doing any of those 10 things justice, because they've only got a part of your attention. Whereas if you're focused on one thing, and doing it really, really well, that it's going to show, and you're going to get ultimately to where you want to go and make progress quicker because it's got your full attention. Okay. All right, number 8. We are almost halfway. So number 8, if you don't plan your time, someone else will. There's a reason why a lot of people to this day, they utilize some form of a calendar planner. And, if you're like, if you ask them, hey, can I get 10 minutes? They're immediately going to tell you, yeah, just here's a link, check my calendar and book a time. And it's because they're in charge of their schedule. And I guarantee there's times that are not available on their schedule that is time for lunch, or, times that they just need to focus on getting work done, or, getting a walk-in or whatever. Because if you don't do that, someone is going to fill your calendar. And it might not necessarily be with stuff that is what you're focused on. It's more than likely going to be what they're focused on. So just remember, control your calendar, plan your days, or someone else is going to fill your calendar up. If your calendar is just full of blanks everywhere, it'll get filled up with other people's priorities, not necessarily your priorities. So, back before all this stuff kind of came to be, in sales, they always taught you, just tell them, if you're meeting, say, hey, I've got a Tuesday at 10 or a Wednesday at 1, which is best. Nowadays, you have that same conversation and you can just send them a link. And if those 2 times are available, that's great. If not, then they're going to pick a time based on your availability. So don't let other people fill your day with stuff that may not be important to you, but I guarantee is important to them. It's your life, control it. And that starts with a schedule. Just plan your time and plan your day. All right. Number 9. This one speaks directly to what we've been talking about and kind of the whole personal development thing. Review your goals weekly, if not daily. I would take weekly out of it. Review your goals daily. And this goes to your compare yourself to from the day before, not necessarily to anyone else, or not even you to a year before, or a week before, 2 weeks before. So review exactly what you're focused on for what you said was your most important goal and your inspiration behind why you're not going to fail attaining that goal, and review that daily and make sure that it still fits, because again, life is life is all about course corrections. So if you're ahead or something in life has adjusted or changed, just adjust and change that your goals with it. If it's getting fit and all of a sudden, let's say you have an injury, or you sprain your knee or whatever, so you can't get out and walk. There is still stuff that you can do at home that are not going to hurt your knee, but you're still making progress. There's plenty of at-home workouts that have no gear involved. It's all just, there's push-ups and squats and all sorts of stuff that's just using your own body weight, and utilize those, because that's the adjustment that you make, and you're still making progress. And for your weekly review, you're just changing. God, this thing's going to keep me down for 2 weeks, so I'm going to adjust and now do this. But you need to review that every single day to make sure that your schedule stays the same, that you're still doing something. A sprain, if it's a sprained ankle or whatever, don't use that as an excuse to say, well, I can't do anything now. And because I guarantee in 2 weeks, when your ankle's better, you're not going to start again. You got to be consistent. And one of the great ways of being consistent is every day getting up, writing down your 3 priorities. And one of them is what you're doing with regards to what your goal is. All right. All right. Number 10, like we're talking about with, as long as you're making progress, you're going to get there. So think of it this way. If you get 1% better every day for a year, it's 1%. Okay. But if you get 1% better, you make 1% progress every single day, at the end of a year, you are now 37 times better than day one when you started. Like, think about that. Like, 37 times better. If it's fitness or wealth or relationships, imagine if your relationship with your significant other and your kids or family or whatever were 37 times better a year from tomorrow, or if your wealth was 37 times better, or your fitness, you're 37 times better. That doesn't mean that you've obviously lost 37 times the weight, but fitness is more than just weight. Like, it's cardiovascular. There's all sorts of stuff that goes into it. You could look at it and say, I'm 1% better today because I walked 5 miles and I got done and I wasn't out of breath and I felt like I could have gone even more. So I'm going to review tomorrow to see if I can find a different path that goes a little bit further and see that, and just keep pushing that limit. But you're not looking for these huge leaps. It's like you're not going to get to your goal in a year and say, well, I got to get like 10% better. No, it's 1% better. And at the end of a year, you are 37 times better off than when you started. All right. All right. So that's halfway. So just as a reminder, with everything that we've been talking about, just if you want help, guidance, things like that, we've got this Get Started program. It is great for if you've got the motivation and you understand it, but you're kind of a self-starter and you just need a little bit of direction. This program is awesome for you. It's $297. Just email us at info@project9life.com. Put Get Started in the subject line, and then just indicate if you want to pay through a credit card or Venmo. We'll send you the link. You pay, we'll send out the information. You get the worksheet, which is very simple. And then you also get a video. It's about a half hour that just goes through how to break down the worksheet, how to think about your goals, how to think about your why, and just kind of go through the mechanics of it. It becomes yours for life. You can, I'd say, get it, save it to your desktop. You can always go back, review it. If your next goal comes up and you need a refresher, it's there for you. So take advantage of it now, guys, while, before demand gets as such and we got to start looking at adjusting either pricing and stuff like that. So, all right, back to our top 20 list. And we are on number 11. So we made it perfectly, almost about halfway and about half of the time. It's amazing how that works, right? Okay, so number 11, set the do not disturb mode as your default. That should be your default. And along with controlling your time and controlling your schedule, you should put in blocks into your schedule that no one's going to schedule over, that you don't have meetings or you don't have other things that need attended, a kid's birthday party or whatever. But you should have those big blocks in there where you are simply focused on what you're doing. This goes to your 4 hours, right? If you're intently focused on getting something done for 4 hours, that's better than being scattered for 8. The easiest way to do that is your default should be do not disturb instead of available. And just control your time, control your schedule. Otherwise, someone's going to jump in and do it for you. And like we said, it's going to be maybe not important to you or what you're focused on, but it's going to be important to them. And you may be stuck in getting signed up or getting into a meeting to where, you could have sent an email and in 5 minutes handled what just took an hour of your day sitting through this meeting, where you interjected for 2 minutes and that was your contribution. Not to say it wasn't important, but it can be handled differently. So if you handle your schedule and your natural thought process is you're focused on you, what's important to you, work-wise, goal-wise, whatever it is, if you have that mindset, just set your default to do not disturb instead of available. Trust me, it's going to save you guys so much time. And I'll tell you, just do it tomorrow. Do it for for next week, and just take a day and say, you know what, I'm going to set this day up, and I'm going to block out, two 2-hour blocks, and watch how, if you just take that 2 hours and you're intently focused on getting the day done, no one's scheduling over it. People may look at your calendar, they're either not going to schedule it, or they might come and say, hey, are you busy? And the answer is yes. You're focused on whatever it is that you're focused on. All right. So that's number 11. Number 12. I love this one. If it's not a hell yes, then it's a no. Let me say that again. If it's not a hell yes, I'm doing this, then it's a no. It's just such a great way of looking at it, because if it doesn't like inspire you to action, and if it's not something that you've been looking for or looking towards or anticipating, or it really sounds like I want to be a part of this, then it's a no. Because think about it. The last time, for everyone out there, the last time that someone brought something to you and said, do you want to be involved in this? And you weren't excited about it, you didn't anticipate it, you were kind of on if you wanted to be involved or not, but you said, okay, sure, I'll be part of it. How did it end up? My bet is like 1 in 100 that you got involved in something that you weren't excited about getting into that ended up being a benefit. Most often you end up getting into it and you're like, oh my God, why am I here? Why did I do this? Why did I agree to this? I shouldn't be here. I don't want this. So just keep in mind, if you can't get excited, if you're not excited when something comes up that's like I want to be a part of this, then just default no. People will, people sometimes get scared to say no. People sometimes, they just shy away from saying no because of friendships, or it's work, or, stuff like that. One of the greatest, probably the greatest stock picker investor of our time, Warren Buffett, he gets stuff thrown at him constantly about different ideas to do different things and stuff like that. And he's very upfront. He says, for every 100 ideas that cross his desk, 99 of them get a no. And it's just because he doesn't look at it and, doesn't get excited about, this is a great idea. And so his default is no. And the guy is worth billions of dollars. And, you don't get nicknamed the Oracle of Omaha by not being good at what you're doing, right? He's the best, and 99% of the time, you bring something to him, his answer is no. So, for you, if you can't get excited about it, just get in the habit. Politely, no. All right. Number 13. For every hour that you spend learning, spend an hour applying. It does zero good for you personally to learn something new and not apply it. If you're 35, 45 years old, somewhere in there or something like that, and you're learning something, there's probably there's a specific reason that you're learning something. And this goes to like at work, if you're working for someone else and they've got you taking a certain class about something, for every hour that you spend sitting in a seminar or, you know, hell, listening to me talk, you should spend an hour then applying it to your own life. Otherwise, it goes away, and you will have learned something either about yourself, about your mindset, a different way of thinking, a different way of going about things, a new skill, whatever ultimately it is. And if you don't spend that hour then turning around and applying it to figure out, like, okay, this is what I know. How does this work for me? And put it in play to learn if and how ultimately it's going to work for you. Then you learn something for nothing, basically. You've got this knowledge that's floating around in your head, and it gets lost because you haven't put it to use. So just remember, for every hour that you spend learning something new, doesn't matter what it is, spend an hour then applying it. Take action on what you've learned. Don't just let it float. All right. All right. Number 14. Remember, the longer you put off a task, the harder it becomes and the harder it is. So again, it goes to the whole, if it takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now. If you've got a difficult phone call, people always say, make them first. Get them, you know it's going to be hard. It's not going to be good. Make a call first. Call, get it over with. If it's something where you lose a client, lose a contract, lose an acquaintance or whatever, have it do that early. That way it's like you've done it. It's not sitting there just hovering above you all day. And again, it's going to affect that 4 hours of focused work versus 8 hours of scattered work. If you let it sit there, you're not going to be able to focus on other stuff because you're like, ooh, maybe at 10. And then 10 will come, 10 will go. And then it's like, all right, I'll call him over lunch. And then lunch comes, lunch goes. I'll call him before he goes home for the day. Well, then you leave, and all of a sudden, it could be after hours or it could be the next day. So just remember that the longer you wait to do anything, the harder it's going to become. And just, if it's difficult, do it as soon as you know it's there, and do it first thing. As soon as you know, take care of it. That way it's over, it's done with, it's behind you, and you can put your focus on moving forward and making progress rather than having that just hanging over your head all day or all week or whatever ultimately it is. Because then when you do it, it seems like this massive monumental task. Whereas if you do it, it still might not be, it's not going to be fun maybe, but it's done and it's over with. And you can, you know what, I called and this is the conversation and this is what happened. This is the result. Even if it's difficult news, if you do it as you learn it, you'll find a lot of clients, while they may be upset, they're also going to appreciate the fact that, if you tell them, look, I just found out about this, and I called you immediately as soon as I found about it. They still going to be upset, and you still might lose business or a contract or whatever, but you will have gained a little bit in their eyes because they're getting real-time communication and real-time data as it's happening, rather than waiting, or they find out the next day, or if it's a big enough deal, they hear it from someone else before they hear it from you. That never goes good, because then they're the one calling you going, why didn't you tell me? Right? So that was 14. So number 15, and this kind of makes me laugh. If you would like to burn out, don't take breaks. Kind of plain and simple, right? If you want to just completely wake up the morning dreading a day, go home for the day absolutely exhausted, and all you want to do is just eat and sleep. If you want to do that, great, then don't take breaks. It's going to happen. That's in all of life, that's almost a certainty. So with planning your time and planning your schedule and controlling your calendar and not letting someone else control it for you, put in those blocks and put in 2 or 3 breaks, be it 15, 20 minutes in the morning, 15, 20 minutes in the afternoon. If you get an hour for lunch, take an hour for lunch, even if you're eating at your desk. If you're eating at your desk, don't. Get away from work. Every office, or, if it's a home office, you got a kitchen and a living room. So go in there to eat. If it's an office, they've got a cafeteria. Go down there. Get away from work during your times where you've got these scheduled breaks, and take them. And that goes for daily, 15, 20 minutes in the morning, 15, 20 in the afternoon, an hour for lunch, whatever. It breaks up your day and it gives you time to decompress, clear your mind, clear your head, think about something else, and then go from there. And for the love of God, please do not be the people that you see the reports on every single year that leave vacation days on the table every single year. Don't do that. Companies that offer vacation time, they give it to you for a reason. One, they have to legally. 2 is, if you've been there long enough, you may have upped it to 3 weeks versus 2. Take it. Take every single day and maximize it. Like, if you can find a time where, like, it's a holiday weekend, and if it's Monday, the office is closed, so you can be gone Monday and not take a vacation day, then leave Friday. That vacation day doesn't count, and don't come back till the following Tuesday. You still only took 5 days, Tuesday through Friday and then Monday, but take your vacation and do something with it. Don't just take vacation and, hey, I'm, going to be home for 5 or 6 days or whatever. It doesn't have to be like a trip somewhere else. Like, you don't have to jump on a plane and fly somewhere or anything like that, but get out of town, go see a new place, something. But take daily breaks, and please take your vacations. You have to. That goes to, your fitness, your diet, and your sleep. You need it to live a healthy, happy, productive life. All right. Number 16. Long-term fulfillment is greater than instant gratification. And I know that is not the world that we live in, right? Why do you think weight loss pills and that industry are so popular and so profitable. It's because people want instant. I need to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks because I got to fit in a suit because I don't want to go get another one. And I can't walk my way or exercise my way there. So there's got to be a pill that I can take to get there. People want things immediately and they seek out what is instant gratification. But it doesn't last a lifetime. But your lifetime does. So if you start today and, on getting fit or, attaining wealth or improving relationships, the payoff is not going to be immediate, but it will be for your lifetime, because once it transitions from what you're doing to who you are, that lasts a lifetime. And that long-term gratification is much bigger payoff than, I'm going to take the blue pill and boom, I'm 10 pounds lighter and the suit fit. Because I guarantee you, as soon as they stop taking the blue pill and that event is over, not only does the 10 pounds come back, but another 5 comes. And now you're in worse shape than you would have been. Then that, it's a longer term outlook on it. Okay. All right. Number 17, avoid multitasking at all costs. People use it as a brag almost. I'm a good multitasker. No, avoid it. Be intently focused on one thing at a time. There's a reason if there's a pile of files on your desk, grab one, work on one till it's done, then get rid of it, and then work on the next one. If you're focused on health, just getting fit, there's a lot of different aspects to it, but don't think that day one it's like, well, this is great, so I'm going to get up, I'm going to go for a run, then I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to get a swim in, then I'm going to lift weights, and then I'm going to do yoga and stretch back out, and then I'll do this. That's you're taking on all these things. And multitasking, all it does is divert your attention from what is most important and should be on your priority list. So the more things that come at you, they got to fall in a line and they don't all get worked on at once. Being good at multitasking is not necessarily a good thing. Be good at one thing, what you're working on. When you're done with that, then be good at what you're focused on next. Because if you've got all the stuff that you're working on, you're good at none of them. All right. You're not making progress as much as any of them. And now you've got that 8-hour day again, instead of having intentional focus for 4 hours. All right. Number 18, be mindful of the content that you consume. So if you're watching junk, then that's going to be your life and your comparison. If you're eating junk, that's going to be your fitness and your reality. If you don't start doing things to improve your conversations and improve your relationships, because that's going to be your reality. So just be mindful of what you're consuming. If you've got a half hour where you've got some free time to be on your phone or whatever, that's fine. Check check your emails, check texts, make sure that that's all handled. And then if you've got to watch something, like watch some podcasts about, from motivational people, like, Lewis Hose is one, or, there's all these different people out there that are all about like improving people's lives. So if you're consuming that, the more likely you are to actually exude that. Whereas if you're watching, whatever, Kardashians or, housewives or whatever, I don't even know what's on there anymore. But if that's what you're consuming, you're going to exude that. And it's going to become part of, what's impacting you on a daily basis. And why would you not want positive things to impact your daily goings on instead of negative things or junk impacting your daily life? What you put in is what's going to come out. So just be mindful of what you're actually like, either watching, websites, social media, whatever. Good exercise is just to go through, like, who are you following on Instagram or Facebook or whatever? Are they positive people, or are they have a positive message, or do they have a stance on something? If not, and it's just someone out there that's like, telling horrible jokes or playing practical jokes, those don't impact your life in a positive way. So just unfollow them. Don't even give yourself the option. It's hard to have temptation if it's not there, right? All right, number 19, sleep is the most important productivity hack. Obviously, the name of this program is Personal Development Hacks, and it is true. Sleep is a productivity hack. If you are not sleeping well, if you're, lucky to catch 4 hours because your brain is going crazy or something like that. Now, if it's something like medical that you've got going on, obviously, then, take care of that however you need to. But dedicate the time to get your rest. Your brain, your energy, it all needs to recharge every single day. And the easiest and the best way to do it is to get a good night's sleep. Okay. All right, we made it. Yay. Number 20. The most important thing that you can be doing right now is not on your phone. Now, I realize that this is a streaming video and a lot of people do watch on their phone, and that's fine. At least it's a positive message. But if you find yourself where you're in public, at dinner, out and about with friends, I'll tell you, the next time you go out to eat, take 5 minutes when you walk in and just look around and look at how many people have their phones either out and they're on it, even though they're sitting across from someone, or they've got their phone on the table and you constantly see them kind of leaning in and going to light the screen up to see if anyone messaged them or something like that. It doesn't matter who you're out with or what you're doing. The most important thing that you can be focused on is not on your phone. If you're at dinner, it doesn't matter, with friends, family, your loved ones, whatever, put the phone, put it in your pocket, turn the volume off. You've got your notifications already set to only for emergencies. and have a conversation with them and pay attention to what they're talking about and be involved in it and ask questions. It's amazing what you learn when you're paying attention and you're actually attentive and engaged in a conversation rather than constantly hitting the phone. So the most important thing out there, guys, it's not on your phone. Put it away when you don't need it. Put it in your pocket. Turn the volume off. Put your notifications only to emergencies, and just remove the temptation. And when you are out, just pay attention to whoever you're with. Or if you're just out by yourself, don't have your phone out. Keep your head up and look around and just look at other people. It's amazing what world is out there. So, all right, guys, that's all 20 for today. So hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.